Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to the millions of tennis fans watching from Poland to the Philippines and all across the world. Please have a seat if you are just joining us. Holding on to anything could be a good idea if you are already sitting. Because the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships match we just saw is more than simply a game. It is more than a mere outcome. It is a momentous occasion that has essentially changed the course of the 2026 WTA season. The headline is straightforward. But without experiencing the earthquakes that are presently rattling the tennis world's foundations, it is hard to completely understand. Poland as a whole was stunned. That is now the most popular term. To be honest, however, the whole sports world is in complete shock. We anticipated the elite's coronation when we arrived in Dubai. We anticipated that the five-time Grand Slam winner, the clay court queen, the World No.2 Iga Świątek, and the hardcore technician would breeze through this draw with the clinical accuracy that has characterized her career. The sketch sheet was examined. We watched the match, and I was among the observers who noted that this was only another step in the Polish superstar's career. The machine is her. The favorite is her. Rising stars often crash and burn against her wall. The pride of the Philippines, Alexandra Eala, is a 20-year-old left-hander who has been quietly, gradually, and sometimes painfully making her way into the top 40. Her narrative is known to us. We are aware of the genius she shone in Miami the previous year. We are aware of the difficulties, nevertheless. She simply left early in Doha, as we witnessed. Only a few days ago, we saw the devastating loss in Abu Dhabi. The Miami miracle could have been a one-off, the doubters whispered. She wasn't prepared, they claimed, to continuously question the pantheon of the gods. Well, Alexandra Eala did more than merely defy the gods tonight in front of the Dubai Aviation Club's floodlights. She ripped the heavens down while staring him in the eye. Reband stating Yayig, or the revenge that will shake, was the moniker given to this. And what a prescient title it has out to be. However, whose retaliation was it? Was Swiatek seeking revenge after the defeat in Miami? Or was it Eala shattering the doubts, taking revenge for the previous defeats in the Middle East swing, and demonstrating that she is a deadly fixture at the top of the women's game rather than a passing fad? The scoreline will be remembered for its historical significance, but it doesn't convey the mood. It doesn't describe the quiet that descended over the Polish audience when the third set came to a halt. It doesn't describe the thunderous, spine-tingling clamor of the Filipino supporters and the Filipino employees abroad who transformed the stadium into Manila's home court. We are discussing a contest that has it all. The mental battle of a decisive set when each point seemed like a match point, the tactical tweaks and the vicious physical baseline exchanges. Iga Świątek, who is often the ICW lady, and the player who uses pressure to smother opponents, was the target of a kind of unrelenting, unafraid aggressiveness that is seldom seen aimed against a World No.2. Eala did not just prevail. Świątek's aura of invincibility was destroyed by her. This was no accident. This was Swiatek's unforced mistake festival. When the pressure increased, Eala refused to give up. She did this by grabbing the ball early, shifting direction, and opening up a court with her lefty spin. We will dissect this point by point over the course of the next hour. We'll examine the statistics that don't make sense, the zone that Eala reached in that last set, where athletes cease thinking and begin to live just at the moment of execution, will be the subject of our analysis. We'll discuss the implications of this for the person who has now responded to pointed inquiries on her susceptibility to this particular pairing. And because Eala has now unquestionably shown herself to be a big murderer, we shall discuss what this implies for her. So fasten your seatbelt. The world of tennis has completely changed. Tonight, the rankings don't matter. There's a fresh entry in the history books, starting with a first serve and ending with the game-changing forehand. Winner. This is an in-depth analysis of the game that stunned Poland and captivated the globe. This is Iga Świątek versus Alexandra Eala. This is a breakdown of the Dubai Open. For a moment, let's put aside the excitement and examine the harsh facts of how this match started. We must comprehend the background of the previous 2 weeks in order to fully appreciate the significance of this win. In tennis, context is crucial. Świątek had a purpose when it arrived in Dubai. In Australia, her runs were deep. Her team had made it plain that they intended to control the Middle East swing in order to go closer to the top place in the world, and she was looking well in practice. Swat has a chip on her shoulder and plays with it. She is often at her best when she takes to these hard courts, particularly the Deco turf in Dubai, which plays a little quicker than Indian Wells but slower than the Aussie Open. Her biggest weapon is her mobility. She moves like a clay ball on hard courts. For her opponents, she makes the court smaller. Compare it to Alexandra Eala. Eala's mental toughness has been put to the test during the last 48 hours. She thought she should have won the match in Doha, but she lost against Teresa Valentova and Alexandrova's quarterfinal elimination in Abu Dhabi. Physically, Eala was exhausted. The tape on her shoulder was visible to us. We were aware of her extensive tennis playing. It was implied that Swiatek would take advantage of Eala's weariness. The plan for Poland was clear. Wait for the legs to give out, extend the rallies, and shift the Filipinos to the left and right. And that's precisely what occurred for the first 35 minutes. Iga Świątek's opening set was a master lesson in restrained aggressiveness. She blasted it out. She continuously attacked Eala's backhand wing. Alex had to slice to defend and play from 3 feet beyond the baseline after Sweet's big top-spin forehand kicked up high against Eala's shoulder. There was a crucial game in the opening set at 2-2. There is a breaking point for Swiatek. Eala had an early opportunity to make a statement. Swiatek missed an easy drive volley into the net after Eala skillfully created the point and pulled it wide. In the face of a player like Swiatek, you could feel the atmosphere leaving the arena. You don't miss them. You really can't. She pounced after the switch held. Świątek crushed Eala's heart in the very next game. It was clinical. It was cruel. Swiatek was hitting lines and serving with accuracy, not too loud, but just the right spot. 6-3, she won the first set. The shock didn't seem feasible at the time. The retaliation seemed to be a dream. Already the tweets and texts were flowing. Swiatek is too powerful, exhausted, and has a typical workday. Already the Polish pundits were debating Swiatek's opponent for the next round. Eala seemed depressed based on her body language, to be honest. She stared at the floor while sitting in her chair with a towel over her head. However, here is where Eala's tennis IQ and the coaching staff's brilliance come into play. Legends abound about what transpired during the break between sets 1 and 2. As soon as the second set started, we saw a change in Eala's court placement. She was withdrawing in the first set. She stepped up in the second set. Taking the ball on the rise was her choice. Because the ball is coming at you so quickly, this is a high-risk tactic. You frame it, you shank it, and you lose if your timing is even a nanosecond wrong. Eala didn't simply step up, however. The Rafa lefty hook was the first thing she used. She started using strong cross-court topspin to attack Sweet's forehand, forcing Ig back before smoothing out the backhand down the line. At the Rough Nadal Academy, we saw her develop this pattern. However, putting it into practice against the second-ranked player in the world is quite another. 3 was shown on the scoreboard, IL catering to 1540 people. Świątek has 2 sites of failure. The game is essentially over if Ig breaks here. She raises her voice to 3, closes it out after serving for 5-3. This was it, the precipice of do or die. Eala serves broadly, a danger. Deeply, switch came back. A 19-shot rally followed. It was a lung-busting experience. Backhand to backhand, forehand to forehand. Sua had chosen to take a drop shot, which was unusual for her at the time. Eala rushed forward, grabbed on the ball, and didn't simply flip it back, demonstrating her amazing speed. She dropped it again. A drop of the counter. It was a beautiful touch. 30-40. Eala attempted an ace down the tee on the second break point. Someone called it out. She posed a challenge. The audience held their breath. The Hawkeye clipped the line by a millimeter and displayed the ball. A deuce with an ace. You could see Swiatek's displeasure on her face after she won that game. She examined her package. She struck her shoe with her racket. She realized she had let the prey to get away. In athletics, momentum is a peculiar concept. It weighs a ton, yet it is invisible. Sweet's arm became a little heavier all of a sudden. Her proportion of first serves fell from 72% to 55%. Świątek serves to remain in the set, while Eala senses blood at 5-4. Eala produced 3 forehand victories in a row, not mistakes from Alex's Instagram wins, like a clean laser. She won 6-4 in the second set. The third set is up next. The decision was made by Sung Yig, the reband. Retaliation that shakes the world. This is a multi-layered vengeance story. In Miami 2025, Eala did really defeat Swiatek. Swiatek, however, has taken control of the tour ever since. The establishment is her. The rebel is Eala. Eala wanted to demonstrate that Miami wasn't an anomaly. This was about re-establishing order for Swiat. It was an attrition struggle in the third set. 3-3, 4-2, 4, 1-2. Not a single player moved. The level of physical effort was incredible. Swiat was seen going into the splits to recover balls that ought to have won. From her shoelaces, we saw Eala launching backhands. Let's discuss the mental component, however. The inexperienced player often loses it at these situations. They are suffocated by the strain of defeating a world number 2. They begin to consider their own giants, the headlines, the prize money, and the glory. A took the opposite action. At 4-4, she escaped, changed the serving. 7 times, the game ended in deuces. 7 times. It was a match within a match. Swiat committed a double fault on the 8th deuce, an uncommon fissure in the armor. Eala's advantage. Highlight clips will continue to play the following point for years to come. Switch blasted a driving volley to the other corner after serving wide and opening the court. Eala was correct in her estimate. After sprinting and stretching, she sent a running forehand pass down the line. A banana fell in after curved around the net post. The stadium burst into flames. It was more than a cheer. There was a loud boom. The Filipino supporters were sobbing, embracing, and leaping. A primitive release of strain, Eala screamed. She needed to snap. 5-4. The most difficult tennis assignment is serving throughout the match versus Iga Świątek. You are aware that she will hurl the kitchen sink at you. She will fill in on every return, you know that. Swiatek struck long 15-15, and then an ace 30-15 after Eala began with a fault 0-15, and then a lengthy rally in which Eala just rejected a miss. A switch winner is then 2 points away, 30-30. Eala examined her package. She inhaled deeply. The ball rebounded off her. She served a body serve once, twice, and 3 times. The switch was stuck. Weakly returned it to the midcourt. It was this, the truth moment. Eala took over. She made no hesitation. She wasn't cautious. In a corner, she blasted a forehand inside out. Świątek remained still. Point of match, the last. Point was momentous in its outcome but anticlimactic in its implementation. On the second serve, Świątek attempted a strong return and netted it in an attempt to force the problem. She stepped inside the baseline and took time away. The game set match ILA had the scoreline 3-6, 6-4, 6-4, but let's take a closer look at why this happened and how Poland as a whole was shocked statistically. The key was a second serve return points won in the first set, which was only 20% of points won on Świątek's second serve. In the third set, that number jumped to 65%. The rally length comes in second. The 5-9 shot range is dominated by Swiat. Eala countered it by finishing points quickly in the third set or prolonging them to 10 or more shots where she unexpectedly had the advantage today. The grinder was outgrounded by her. The clutch element comes last. 8 of the 11 break. Points were saved by IL. When it counted, Swiatek only saved 4 of 8. The Philippines' 20-year-old outperformed the world number 2 in the crucial moments. The whole Dubai draw gets upended by this triumph. More significantly, it communicates with the locker room that the bottom half is now open. The distance is becoming smaller. Eala isn't a possibility anymore. She's in the running for Swiatek. This pattern is concerning. Miami and now Dubai have lost to the same underdog twice in large hardcore events, which points to a matchup problem. IG hasn't yet resolved the uncomfortable contact point created by Eala's lefty spin onto Swiatek's forehand. Poland is astonished as they think they are unbeatable. As the dust settles on Dubai's center court, she was mortal today. We are left to consider the implications of this for the future. Social media in the Philippines is definitely ablaze tonight. Rebancing Yinig is more than simply a catchphrase. It's a fact. Alexandra Eala has produced performances that go beyond athletics. It's a triumph for faith. It is a triumph of fortitude. It is the epitome of grit to come here and defeat the world. Number 2 after the disappointment in Doha and the exhaustion in Abu Dhabi. This was sting for Iga Świątek. She is undoubtedly a champion, because champions detest defeat more than they enjoy victory. She'll start again from scratch. She'll examine the recording. She will examine Ellen's method of neutralizing her weaponry. She will also return stronger. This competition is so thrilling because of that. We are seeing the emergence of a dynamic that may shape the WTA Tour's future years. But it's Alex Eala's night tonight. She is more than simply a Dubai Open competitor tonight. The narrative is about her. She has completely blasted the competition apart. Though difficult, her route to the final is now clear. But who can you be? Afraid of after defeating Swiatek? Eala will rise when the rankings are updated the following week. Her name will appear higher on the list. However, the recognition she received today is more important than the ranking points. People will be talking when she enters the locker room tomorrow. Both the coaches and the other players are aware. The shock has been noted. This scoreline will go down in history. 3-6, 6-4, 6-4. We appreciate you coming along for this in-depth analysis. Throughout the remainder of this tournament, we will be closely monitoring Alex Eala's progress. Is she able to finish? Is she able to raise the trophy in Dubai? It would take courage to wager against her after tonight. This has been your in-depth analysis of the match that rocked the globe, and my name is I. Continue to watch, remain devoted, and stay tuned. The Dubai Open is just getting started.